Kia ora, good evening. Conservation Minister Nick Smith has today recommended the proposed $240 million monorail venture in Fiordland not be given the green light.
Mr Smith says the proposal does not stand up either economically or environmentally. The independent tourism and financial analysis concluded it was not viable. There would be a significant impact on the area's flora, fauna and natural heritage. The route is not significantly defined to properly assess the impacts. The Fiordland Link proposed a journey using a catamaran all-terrain vehicle and ending with the world's longest monorail between Queenstown and Te Anau Downs. Mr Smith says developments in an area with World Heritage status and which impact on the Fiordland National Park must meet the highest of standards, and he has concluded that the risks of this proposal are too great.
Southern District Police are looking for a prisoner who made a break for freedom from the Gore District Court yesterday afternoon. Rory Damien Partridge, aged 23, made a dash for freedom out the back door of the Gore District Court at around 4 p.m. Police have searched throughout Gore for him with the support of backup units from Invercargill. Partridge had been appearing in court on charges relating to burglary and driving while disqualified. Partridge is described as a male Māori, approximately 190 centimetres tall, of thin build. He has a tattoo on his left hand. Police advise that Partridge should not be approached, but any sightings should be reported to police by calling 111. A campaign to stimulate donations to help bridge the funding shortfall at Invercargill's Stadium Southland is set to start next month. A public fundraiser is being planned to garner contributions from the business community and rural Southland residents. Prime Minister John Key indicated there could be government assistance on offer, but not how much or when, or what might happen should government change in the next election.
It's still an ongoing saga, but we're coming to a conclusion. We're in final negotiations with the insurance company, and we think that there'll be a conclusion in the near future with that. But whatever that may be, we're not expecting it to affect significantly the amount of money that's still owing on the stadium.
So how much is owing?
Well, when John Key was here to open it, I mean, the amount was known publicly as $5 million, and that's a ballpark figure. Since that time, we've had a generous donation from the Community Trust of $1 million, which brings it to $4 million. And now, of course, we're in the planning stages of something we signalled about 2 years ago of having a public fundraiser. So next week we're meeting to finalise some of the plans for that.
Can you give us some indication about what that might involve?
I can, yes. Obviously, we want to target people that haven't already felt that they've given. So, for example, Invercargill ratepayers would feel a bit aggrieved if we went back to them after them donating $2 million. But when you look at the stadium, one of the biggest, or some of the biggest win-wins that come from out of the business community. So the business community can rest assured that we'll be targeting all of them over the next month or two. And a lot of my friends in rural Southland feel that they'd like to contribute because if you look at the records, they're a 50% user group of shows and events that come here and on a daily basis. So rural community and especially the business community.
Are you going to approach the business community and ask for a set amount?
No, I think we're still discussing that, but we would like a personal approach and we would like a win-win situation so that the business community can see, should they decide to donate something, that there's a win in them for them. It might be the stadium for a period of time for their own use, it might be seating, it might be good advertising within the stadium with the Monster Vision. We haven't finalised yet, but we don't want people to give cold. We want them to feel that they're getting something good value for their money.
So a contra arrangement of some sort?
Absolutely. We'll discuss all sorts of things, but obviously we haven't set a target yet. But John Key made it very clear that if we rattle the tin a little bit more, and we're doing that, and by the end of this process we hope to prove to him that we've squeezed the lemons dry, and we'd like him to bridge the gap, and that could even be up to maybe $3.5 million.
So that, given the case then, with CETOS given this extra $1 million just days ago, you've got $4 million outstanding. How much do you expect you can reasonably raise from the business community and rural Southland? That's
a difficult one, Margot. You know, I mean, we would like to think that we could target $1 million, a bit like the Bluff boat, but we don't know. We're going to do our very, very best, and I know Southland will, because Southland is a pretty cautious bunch and they don't like having large debts on amounts, and I think that this is quite a unique stadium through the country, And as John Key said, he's impressed the fact that we've already raised $38 million.
The timing of this, the government potentially could change later in the year. You're wanting to push through and get as much from government at the moment before that potentially happens?
That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Yes, we hope to get onto this certainly within a couple of weeks, and we'd have a time frame, and my guess would be something like 4 or 5 weeks go to woe, and then we can present the case back to Mr Key and say, look, we've rattled the tin, here's your chance to front up.
Thousands of farm animals and hundreds of households will be on the move this Gypsy Day as farms change hands and share milkers take up new contracts from this weekend. The annual event's a unique part of the Kiwi farming calendar and marks the end of the 2013-14 season. Stock must meet a range of health criteria before being moved, and preparation for travel includes keeping cows off green feed for up to 12 hours in a bid to reduce effluent. Federated farmers are encouraging dairy farmers to make sure they have the correct consents in place and adequate staffing numbers and visible safety gear is used on the road. With thousands of stock on the region's roads over the weekend, police are encouraging patience from motorists and ask them not to spook stock by tooting horns. And a large Southern police contingent will be felt in the south this weekend as several road policing initiatives are underway around the region. Tomorrow, Fatality Free Friday commences, targeting poor driver behaviour, followed by the national Make It to Monday campaign that includes a high visibility presence on the roads to target drink driving, seatbelts and driving safely to the conditions. During last Queen's Birthday weekend, no one died on New Zealand roads. However, for Otago and Southland this year, the numbers are being described as tragic.
Compared to last year so far, we've had 14 fatalities. This time last year we had 4, so it's a tragic result for us in the district.
What are police putting that down to?
Well, there's 3 main things that seem to feature in all those fatal incidents: speed, alcohol and restraints, or combination of all 3, which is really sad, which sort of indicates to us that message isn't getting out to some people.
The Make It to Monday campaign, which cranks up this weekend, there's again those 3 aspects that you're really focusing on.
We're really looking at people just driving safely. We want them to be responsible when they're behind the wheel. So it's driving slowly, being aware of your speed, taking your time, being patient, making sure that yourself and your passengers are fully restrained and are safe in the vehicle, and also, abstinence from drink driving. We don't want people going out there and having too much. If people are going to be drinking and driving, being responsible, organising alternative transport for the weekend.
High visibility presence that's going to be felt. Are you really targeting with drink drive testing and breath testing as well?
Look, we've got road policing groups working right throughout the district, Highway Patrol and our drink drive teams. So our drink drive teams are working through till about 4 or 5 o'clock in the mornings, and also will be based in the Tiana area as well. Highway Patrol teams are working through to the later hours just to monitor those traffic flows that are heading to and from those holiday venues.
Still to come, revised plans are revealed for the South City makeover. Welcome back. Environment Southland met yesterday to hear submissions to the draft annual plan and consider additional funding applications.
$100,000 will go towards the Bluff Coast Guard fundraising campaign for a replacement vessel. The $100,000 coming directly from the dividend paid to Environment Southland by Southport. Also being funded from the Southport dividend is the economic project to support Water and Land 2020 and beyond. This project is to investigate the possible economic effects of managing water quality. $10,000 will be given to Real Journeys from the Coastal Rental Fund to supplement the $45,000 already budgeted towards financing a new weather station at St Anne's Point, Milford Sound. A further $5,000 from the Coastal Rental Fund is earmarked for Stewart Island Marine Radio. And coming from the general rate will be $35,725 towards the employment of 2 more consents officers. Environment Southland's annual plan will be adopted on the 18th of June.
The new look plans for the redevelopment of South Invercargill's shopping centre received the stamp of approval at a special consultative meeting last night. South Alive Chair Colin Anderson says the concept plans have evolved considerably, with parking unhindered by the new proposal.
I think one of the exciting things was that nobody had seen the plans beforehand, and so it was great to have them revealed to us by Craig Pocock, and he's done an excellent job of listening to what people found problems with the first lot of plans, and modifying those and coming up with some really outstanding designs for the area.
There does seem to have been an evolution that's taken place with the plans, hasn't there?
Very much so, and it's been great to see it happen, and the way that it's evolved has meant that I don't think there was any criticism at all of the plans. It seemed to meet everybody's expectations and more. And some of the innovation with the lighting and light poles that'll be on Alice Road really added an extra dimension.
And crucially, no car parks changed.
No car parks changed, and that was a biggie. People were really adamant that there shouldn't be any change to the amount of parking. And so no changes to the car parks, and really the vehicle access and traffic flow is just exactly as it was before.
And you hadn't seen the plans yourself. What was your reaction when you did see them?
Oh, very positive. Yeah, quite eye-opening sort of plans, and the idea too of some shelter over the areas makes a big difference. It's not always bright and sunny down here, but the shelter is also looks very attractive and looks quite striking. And I think people will be impressed when they see the plans, and particularly when it's all in place.
There is time for people, though, if they do have problems or queries. There is a breathing space for them to have their input still.
Yes, there's about 10 days, I think, from now until any submissions on the plans close. From the feedback last night, people were just very positive about the plans. Probably the issues that some people still have are around bus routes and traffic flow. But that's really a task for the City Council, and it didn't affect the designs for the seating and amenity areas around South Invercargill.
When can we expect work to start? Is there any indication of when we'll actually see installations and changes taking place in South Invercargill?
I'm not really sure when the work will start, but the money has been allocated, it's all been budgeted for, so there is no hold up there while waiting for funding or anything like that. I guess it'll be a tender process and then straight into it. The sooner the better.
You'd like to see it obviously before the end of the year, the Christmas shopping period.
That would be great to have it ready for then, yeah.
An incredible dairy season in the south, a strong grass growth and an oversupply of winter feed is thought to be lifting economic confidence across much of the region's business sector.
Retail sales are up 9.5% on a year ago, the strongest rate of increase across all of New Zealand's regions. New car sales also added to the increase, lifting 53% over the past 12 months. In the property market, the news is not as buoyant, with house sales volumes falling 4% in the 3 months to April, 9% lower than a year ago. Likewise, house prices have eased and are 3% lower than a year ago. This is the weakest annual rate of growth across all the regions. In contrast, section sales gained 6% over the quarter to be 24% higher than a year ago.
Next up in sports, commentator Joseph Romanos talks illegal sports fixing from the news team. Good night.